Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Southampton and today the Daily Brighton from the Global Sports Podcast Network. My name is Greg. I'm here with my Southampton co-host and friend, Zach. How you doing, Zach?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Looking forward to getting battered at the weekend.
Yeah.
Trying to discuss what we could have done different, except play better.
And joining us from the Daily Brighton, Joe. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. Is that how every intro goes? Like,
The last couple of months, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's been a lot of what can we do? Look, the optimism
There it is.
comes in peaks and flows. This might be the hardest game I found to get optimistic about, though. But let's start with Brighton, Joe. How you finding the season so far? Is 10th about where you'd expect to be?
I think I predicted 11th at the start of the season, but then we started the season really well, and then it's basically just been like up, and then it's just been downhill. We went on like a really easy run, which I think might have even started with Southampton at home. It was one of the teams that have come up, and then we drew, and you lot should have won, in my opinion. And like it's just been we've lost to like Everton at home, played really poorly against you guys, played really poorly against Ipswich the first time round, and it's just been like, and then obviously the Nottingham Forest battering, people wanting Hursla's head, and then the cup came at a really good time because obviously it was straight after that 7-0 loss, beat Chelsea in the cup, beat them again, and then like we changed like the style and the formation around. And to be fair, like it has actually, it looks a lot better. Chelsea didn't have a shot on target on Friday, so
you absolutely battered Chelsea. I watched the game and it was pretty horrifying thinking about coming up your next. To be honest, and watching it going, I mean, even aside from the sort of dominance you had from the game, the goals were just insane as well.
Well, yeah. It's nice to see a couple of, we spoke about it not that long ago, like a couple of fringe players coming into the team now and essentially actually performing when players like Dunk, who have been like sort of ever-present long servants who have been really poor this season. Even João Pedro has not been great, sat on the bench, and Jorginho Rutter stepped up. And yeah, it's even Adam Webster, who like he deleted his social media early on in the season because of how much abuse he was getting online. And then had his injury issues. He's been immense in the last couple of games. So like it's exactly that sort of thing that you see. I'm very much of the thing of like I'm ready to get onto a player about being bad, but I never want that player just to be bad all the time just because I say it. Like I'd much rather that player turns it around, and I will swallow my words happily and be like, okay, well that's exactly what we like to see. And the same has happened with Webster. Minte, we gassed him up so much at the start of the season, and then it's basically been non-existent. And then it's the 19th now, and he's only sort of just got back into the 2 goals done wonders for him, and you can tell how much it means to him as well. He was pointing to the badge and pointing at the thing saying he's staying, and you've been there for like 6 months, mate. Like you probably are going to stay. I don't think it's even legal for you to move to another club. So just at the moment it's going all right, but we could still get Europa League. Like everyone's pretty inconsistent around us. So I mean, obviously being mid-table is sort of what it is, but even the team sort of like in 5th, like 4th, maybe all the way down to 10th, 11th, 12th, they're all pretty, even Tottenham, Man United in like 13th, 14th, very inconsistent. So we could definitely go on a little run here and maybe try and push. I mean, even Conference League would be amazing. So.
And looking a bit more towards Saturday and the game, do you feel in any way that we might be some sort of banana skin that you might look past, or are we just in real trouble here?
This is the thing is that I've actually had to like change the way that I approach these conversations because I have cussed out so many teams. I cussed out Nottingham Forest before we played Nottingham Forest. I cussed them out because I think they're a rubbish football team. Like it's such a hot take, but I think they're genuinely like a rubbish football inside, and they slapped us 7-0. So I have to sort of be a bit more respectful. I think I might have even cussed out you lot prior to the first game, and you lot played better than us. So do you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. It's yes, you could be a banana skin. Should you be a banana skin? No, is the answer. You rank like in the bottom 5 for every metric that there is in the league, and you've got 9 points. So. Yeah. Like just sort of being like very like cold, like it shouldn't be like you're on regardless of what happens for the rest of the season, you will probably be in the top 5 worst teams to ever be in the Premier League this season. So 11 points, you'll probably get more than that with a couple of draws, but 19 points, I mean, you need that just to survive. I think. Well, even then, you wouldn't on 19 points. You wouldn't survive anyway if you ended with 19 points because Wolves are on 19. So, do you know what I mean? But you have good players and you played really well against us at home. But you were under Russell Martin, then I believe, and then he left like 2 games after, maybe a game after, whatever. And if you're more like solid at the back, and you in the Premier League, you're the 6th highest team for possession. So obviously, there's still that DNA of Russell Martin in there. Against Chelsea, we had 30% possession and we beat them 3-0. So more than happy to let you guys come onto us and then hit you on the break because you have the worst defence in the league. So
yeah, I mean, I'm
saying so many bad things here.
No,
like, I'm backing it up with stats.
Are you noticing that neither of us are disagreeing with you? That's the sad reality of it.
Like I say, I watched the game on Friday and it was mind blowing watching a long ball go up from the goalkeeper. And not only did Matoma get the ball, he got the ball into an attacking position and scored from it. And that's just not something I've seen from Saints all this season. I was hunting around for some stats to try and boost my confidence. Unfortunately, all I actually managed to find is that Brighton are unbeaten in all 6 of their Premier League games at St Mary's.
Bravo, you were looking in the wrong place, mate. Sorry, man. I actually genuinely tried to do the same thing when we filmed the review for this game yesterday, and it didn't even upload, by the way. So we're gonna have to sort that out at some point. But we done that, and it was like the stats wise. I think your top goal scorer is Joe Rebo, and he's got 3.
Yeah,
I don't even know if he
followed by own goal from other team at 2.
Yeah, that's mad. Like but like I have to be respectful in a way because you do have some players that I do actually like, but I also don't think that the injuries are going to be doing you masses of good because isn't Harwood Bellis doubtful? I don't know if Jack Stevens starts, but
he's also injured.
He's injured. He came back after being out for. Well, he's had a bunch of time out for red cards, two long periods of time out for red cards, which was really, really handy for our club captain. Came back, we were quite happy, like as you said, like I'm happy to welcome a player back into the fold, and I want them to do well. But whatever went on, 10 minutes later, he went off with a hamstring injury again. Has been out since, so he had a 10-minute cameo that, if anything, used up a substitution in a game where we probably could have had somebody else come on and do something. But Sullivan.
Yeah, it's true. And then Flynn Downs is injured as well, who I know can step in there. And that might have been a Russell Martin thing.
So the Flynn Downs situation is one that people familiar with our podcast to be aware of, and that is a disciplinary thing, essentially. So he's fallen out big time with the new manager, probably because he misses Russell Martin. There's obviously more stuff going on behind the scenes, but for us, it's just kind of like, we're like bang at the bottom of the league. We're probably not going to stay up. Like, can you guys just do the job you're paid to do, please? Desperately.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is what it is.
But on like a positive note, you guys do have like 3 players who I really like. So like Tyler Diblin, I think is a baller. Is it Mateus Fernandez or is it Manuel?
Yeah, Mateus.
So Mateus Fernandez, really like him, and Sulemana as well. I really like him as well. So Sulemana was cooking Lenny Euro the other day. I think you still lost that game, but like you played well from what I heard. So
yeah, Sulemana definitely seems to be a man reborn under our new manager, and his friendship with Tall is seemingly going a long way towards revitalising that as well.
So the big striker,
yeah, Paul Onuachu.
Yeah.
A man that's like 7 foot that, you watch him run and you're worried he's going to fall down. And then a lot of the time he does.
Yeah.
Do you not think he's good?
No.
No.
I was going to say...
we really like him. He's a really nice guy and we really think that he's cool, but we don't think he's decent. Very good.
He's a bit of a donkey, to be fair. I don't really like.
But he did creep in with a goal, so is it 2 goals now this season? So
at St Mary's, right?
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
When he scores at St Mary's, that roof's going to blow off. That
the only thing that's exciting is St Mary's till the end of the season. Right, the goal is beat the record for not being the worst team in the Premier League ever, followed closely by see Tall Paul score at home. And that's basically what we hope between now and the end of the season.
It's quite achievable, isn't it? You need one win. You need one win to beat it because you're on 9 points, aren't you? So
we had 2 in 25 games. So
that's not good.
Also, I think the stat was that our home form is something like we've won 6 of our last 72 home Premier League games.
Oh dear me.
Yeah. It's really not great.
I mean, it's not like the stadium's not bad, but like the atmosphere's. I've only been once, but the atmosphere was terrible, and it was at the end of the season, so I'll give it a pass.
Championship was good. It's turned a lot this season.
It's been all right this year. They've moved the away fans, so we've got a whole sort of home end now, which has done quite well. But with how poor we've been, it really only takes the slightest bit of ineptitude to really turn sour quite quick.
Yeah, we concede and everyone gets really, really mad, and then the problem is that then the players get upset because they're aware they're going to get shouted at because they've conceded, and then we just don't recover. So and that's just how our games go.
So the away end was to the right of the dugout, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it wasn't even like really tucked in the corner.
It was basically half of the stand, so now they've moved that right over into the far corner, away from that. So
it should always be in the far corner because you don't want the away fans or the away players to have any sort of advantage.
Yeah,
it's like all the changing rooms for the away teams are all like a PE changing room.
Yeah.
And then it's like heated floors in the home change. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're right.
Right. Well, we'll carry on our match chat, but first a quick word from our sponsors at Bioniq.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimize your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Okay, and we're back. So I guess thinking a bit more about the game and breaking these patterns. Have you got any strikers that are a bit out of form and haven't scored in a while, Joe? Like, we seem to be a team that are fantastic at breaking streaks like that. So is there sort of any outsider that we should look to put a couple of quid on to score first?
To be fair, like, I would say that apart from Rutter, the striking-wise, Evan Ferguson's not even there anymore. He's at West Ham now. Welbeck broke his spine and then came back, resurrected at like 35. I don't know how he's done it. Our podcast is basically just a tribute to Danny Welbeck. Because we just love him. All of us apart from one are the same age. So like Danny Welbeck we've seen the whole thing, like so the whole career and stuff, and like you can appreciate how much of a professional he is. But he hasn't scored, to be fair, in a while. I don't think so, anyway. A couple of assists against Chelsea, but they weren't anything special, do you know what I mean? And João Pedro is on the bench. So, to be fair, all of them out of form in a way. But Jorginho Rutter has been insane recently, and like he's, you said like he's not. I know actually he's not good, but like Rutter is good, but he also understands the club, and he's also a hilarious guy. Like I don't know what's going through his head when he's doing the things that he's doing, but he's just a baller. He plays with intensity all the time. Matoma's picked up form at a really good time, which is terrible news for you because when he's on
FPL.
Yeah, exactly. But like when he's on it, he's probably one of the best in that position in the league. And then on
his
the
goal on Friday, by the way,
it was insane.
Maybe for me, that's goal of the season so far.
Yeah, definitely
don't know
be
if
up there,
other
I
people
reckon.
rate touches and ball control quite as highly as me, but that was I was in absolute awe, to be honest.
Greg, I can imagine you doing that, to be honest. Ball coming over the shoulder. Boom,
yeah, not on purpose though.
But yeah, no, the form wise, I mean, you can only be so in form after a 7-0 loss and then 2 wins, 1 in the cup. But like to be fair, some of the players are getting a bit more into it now. It seems anyway. Some of the players who've needed to come on a little bit have stepped up now. So we'd like to see that.
Zach, I know that I tend to be the optimistic side of the podcast, but can you see anything from us piecing together in a way that might hurt Brighton and give us a chance?
Well, if we don't know our plan, the good chance is the opponent can't guess it either, and that's the only thing I think that would result in us doing well at the moment. It's been really weird. Like ever since Taylor Harbour-Bellis has gone out, he's been kind of like tweaking with the defensive line, which hasn't gone well. And then obviously Greg did a good episode on ours on like the fact that we've kind of moved to this man marking system, which means that sometimes you look at our formation and it doesn't really exist, and then we get caught, and it's just we just keep making silly errors. Like, and also we don't take our chances, which are the two worst things you can combine in a team. Mm-hmm. Like you sent a stat this morning to me, Greg, like separately, right? Like 75%. Like we're like the highest team for missed chances in the whole league. 75%
yeah, we are top
or something.
Of the league of big chances missed. Yeah,
and my problem is like at the moment we've not been ruthless. Like the only way if we win, in my opinion, it will be by accident, and like that's kind of the level of where my head is at the state of our team at the moment, and just at the state of the club. It just feels like we have moments where there's hope and optimism, and then you lose 1-0 to Burnley in the cup, and then you come back and you lose 3-1 to Bournemouth, your rival, not rival, and it's just kind of like you can see it in the players' faces. There are a couple that have come good. Like Joe Aribo has been less hot and cold. He's been cold a few times, but he's come good. Onuachu, although we'd love to see some more goals from him. Sulemana, who is finally looking like the record signing we actually made, right? And you can see that he's happy with the freedom. But then there are lots of still just silly decisions, silly errors. And it does just feel at the moment like every game is like a slog towards the end of the season, where every single one of us sat in St Mary's are like, well, yeah, it's the championship, right? Can't wait for the championship. Going to be so good to go to Preston North End again. No offense, I always end up mugging off random teams, but Rotherham were my worst
normally
target.
Rotherham, yeah. But look, we've seen a pattern of games where we start off strong right up until we concede. If we start off strong and actually score a goal, do you think that could lift the stadium and drive us on?
But we've had situations where we've scored and then our heads have dropped, they've equalised and then scored another. That's happened so many times this season as well. It's for me, it's like it's just a fragile mentality, or alternatively sorting out what our defensive line is like. I think I mentioned it briefly in one of the episodes previously. As much as it was an awful time that we just had an interim manager who was our under 21s, which was terrible, and we had a draw out of those games, right? Like, and that's the thing where we need to stop shipping goals to allow. Like, I would happily take a couple of draws that are boring and 0-0 to get a mindset of playing a little bit more defensive. But the problem is that it goes completely against the ethos of quote unquote heavy metal football that Juric is trying to put in. And we've also established, Greg, that at the moment he's basically just playing Football Manager in the sense of he's testing out what works and what doesn't. because this season's a write-off. Like the fact that he still says, "Well, it's not over till it's over," it's obviously because he's paid to say that. But the fact that you've got like Rambo coming out and being like, "Well, yeah, we pretty much know we're down, don't we?" And you're like, "That's not what you want to hear." But also, it's what everybody thinks. I really struggle to have optimism, which is why I'm hoping if I'm just downtrodden to the point that it's a surprise if we come away with something. But at this rate, I'll just go back to that TikTok comment we had ages ago, Greg, where like that guy was like, as a Sheffield United fan last season, like you just have to enjoy every little moment, right? So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm enjoying all the little goals and, you know, enjoying the little moments, because at the moment, 20 minutes in a game is about what we can put together of a performance. So, sorry,
this is really sad, guys. I'm not
yeah, but I think that's the problem.
We'll loop back to optimism.
Greg's deluded. It's fine, but like I think it is pretty sad that is a lot of how a lot of us feel, and it's kind of like that's why we're kind of willing the end of the season so we can look to rebuild something in the Championship, because the couple of cup games we've played against sort of Championship opposition have been all right, and I think that from a squad clear out perspective, I think that we need a group of players that can start to gel together again. Whereas a lot of people still at the club, and the whole Downs thing I was saying about earlier, is a lot to do with they all kind of came in for Russell Martin. It was all or nothing for Russell Martin. They kept him for a really long time. A lot of them were shell shocked that we had a new manager come in. That's been great for some players like Sulemana, but like the just level of disjointedness in the team across attack, defence, and I guess just even like team spirit is very evident. So it's kind of like hoping we get to a point where it's not that bad. You also come off the back of a 3-1 loss where I predicted it and was really, really sad about it. And I'm just struggling to find the joy in watching it at the moment. Whereas Greg has to go with his kids every week as he's a season ticket holder. So kind of just forces himself to find the joy, right? Even if it is paying £7-8 for a pint.
Well, look, I feel like I know where the score predictions are headed as we head into our second break. But before we get to that, a message from our partners at Zencastr. Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform, and Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr. Okay, Joe. So as our guest here today, I'm going to throw it over to you first. How many goals do you think you're going to win by on Saturday?
I actually only think it's going to be 2 now. But I said that I want a comfortable performance where like you don't create much, to be honest with you. Very similar to Chelsea. Like I don't want to be seeing header shots on target and us getting pressured. Like how we did the first time, and I obviously don't expect you to beat us 7-0. So, I'm going to go 2-0. I'm actually going to go Matoma and Rutter as the goals as well. I'll give you goal scorers just to spice it up a little bit.
Nice.
Normally, I predict Danny Welbeck knee slide, but I don't know if that's going to be a thing anymore. So,
fair enough. Zach, how do you see it playing out?
Similar to last week, if I'm totally honest. So I'll probably say 3-1 again. Maybe we'll get a goal back. We want to see Paul score, and I want that to happen because it's just again one of those moments of joy we can latch onto. And for Brighton, you know, if it's been a while since Danny Welbeck scored, what about you give him a hat trick? Because that's the kind of thing that happens to us at the moment, right? Like when Rashford came to play against us when he was still at Manchester United, hadn't scored in ages, lots of questions about his form, comes straight into play against us, scores, and that's just the story of a lot of our opponents. But I just think that we're still in this experimental phase. I don't know if we're going to resolve the problems from last week. We still didn't really know what we wanted to do with the defence, and I think it's probably going to be a similar case. I just see us getting picked apart a little bit, but we'll score a goal. Alternatively, the heart one, Greg. What you want is you want Sulemana to score, and that be the only goal of the game. And then I have a bet on with another Saints podcast that if Sulemana scores the winning goal in a game of Premier League football, I have to buy a shirt with his name on the back. I kind of just feel like I want that shirt at this point. And also that will put us past the threshold, right? So
That is it.
All right. Well, a cop-out answer and a real answer.
There's another Saints podcast.
There's not from Global Sports Podcast Networks. There's quite a few other ones that we chat to on like Twitter and stuff like that.
Oh, why would you do that? That's crazy.
You're right. We're enough depression on like a Monday morning, right? Like
that's bad.
Daily listening to
try and share the misery. All right, look, it's not been tremendously successful for me this year. It has to be said, but I'm yet to predict a Saints loss in the season, and it's not going to surprise anyone that it's not going to change today. This is maybe the most dubious I've been coming into a game, to be honest. I am a bit scared, but I think that when that happens, somehow we pull it out of the bag. So I think we're going to see a sneaky 1-0. And I think that we'll probably accidentally score from a corner or something, and then somehow keep the ball out of our net. We've not managed it many times this season, but that's the hope you've got to go in with to get there, right? Like,
honestly, mate, I'd stick a tenner on that just in case. Honestly, I'll be so real. I'll stick a tenner on it, mate. How many clean sheets have you kept this season? Do you know off the top of your head?
How many clean sheets have we kept, Craig?
I think it's 2, 3, if that. Yeah,
not bad. Not bad.
It's no, I think only one of them was at home that I can remember.
The idea that you're just really hoping for some Aaron Ramsdale heroics, right? Like, surely that's got to be because.
Yeah, and I think
it can't just be Jan Bedrick taking on the entire Brighton
it's
team.
It's not just down to us for that to happen either. There's going to have to be some like woeful misses. It's going to have to be real luck of the draw stuff. But like you say, we're going to have to accidentally win a game at some point. Maybe this is it.
So there's a reason Greg doesn't let me on the crossovers anymore.
Okay, well, that is just about all we've got time for today. Joe, thank you very much for joining us. I hope the rest of the season is fantastic for you and you get the European spots you're after. I just hope it comes after Saturday. As ever, Zach, thanks for joining me. Go and give the Daily Brighton a listen. Give us a listen. Follow us on all the socials. And we will see you next time.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.